right, and EnVivo, long live boxing inside the ring with Manny Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper breaking it down like it is. Like it should be. My goodness. Boxing. Don't we love boxing?
We love it.
I just hope that my bed is like a boxing ring, right? That I can just, when I wake up, I'm there.
The boxing.
Right? And I just eat, sleep, dream boxing.
Okay.
All the time.
Whenever I can. And
whenever you can?
Whether I'm here.
Hey, look who it is.
Hey.
Oh, welcome back.
Hey,
Gringo.
Gringo is here.
In the flesh.
We go from Puerto Rico to the Philippines,
Literally
man.
on a jet.
Dude, I mean,
Private jet.
You know,
look at you.
I feel the same and different.
You're different. I mean, you have a lot of stories to tell us.
I have a lot of great stories, things that I wanted to share. I had a unique experience where, for my 9 to 5, my job hike, I had an opportunity to go to the Philippines, right?
Indeed.
It was great. And the time I was there, actually, the collation of boxing, I'm thinking like, hey, Philippines, Pacquiao. When I got there, it was the anniversary of a specific date. Let's see. The history buff we have in here is Hopper. The date is December 8th, 2012. Anything specific happened on that date in the world of boxing?
With regards to Manny Pacquiao?
In regards to Manny Pacquiao.
I believe on that night he was fighting some Mexican guy by the name of Juan Manuel Marquez.
One punch Marquez.
Right, so that's true.
Is that the guy that drinks pee?
That's him. He drinks his own pee.
Hey, I've done it before. Nope.
Oh, really?
All right, so never. So when that fight took place, was there any certain result that stood out that's become a meme for like forever?
Oh, it was an instant meme. It was Juan Manuel Marquez caught him with the punch.
Yeah,
right,
and just rocked him, and he didn't get up.
I mean, sleeping in the beach, Manny Pacquiao in the bottom everywhere. I mean, there was a lot of memes about
Simba. Yeah, Simba, wake up, Manny.
Right. So me, because I am that kind of guy, I was thinking when I was down there, it would be cool to ask locals, hey, do you know what anniversary it is? And, see the response. And actually, I got something way more in return. I learned a better and greater appreciation for Manny Pacquiao because
really.
Well, think about it. I'm going there trying to get a laugh because I'm a bastard. And I was trying to get, a quick response and, be one of those guys. And they were telling me about how he's impacted them personally. Like, in fact, I'll give you one specific story because I talked to several different people. The person told me like, during Christmas time, one year, Manny Pacquiao was standing out, in my province or in my town. And he was just, literally passing out money for Christmas.
Really?
Right. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally giving back to the community. You could see it, in social media. But, sometimes you think, is this genuine? Is this really who this person is? Is this person just putting on a performance? No. So, one thing that I definitely learned and have, appreciation for is, is it just people saying that to say that? Absolutely not. You did have people that I ran into, some people that were saying that what actually kind of led to the fight, there was actually a little bit of quote unquote drama and things that were going on, that kind of led to it, that there was a distraction, not ever taken away from Juan Manuel Marquez, but there obviously, people forget that, prior, 6 months before, they had a controversial loss where Pacquiao lost to Tim Bradley. 2012 was a rough year. And actually, before the fight, allegedly again, that there was talks where Pacquiao was having personal issues with his wife, and he was advised that, she was ready to.
What kind of personal issues? Maybe, and this is all allegedly.
Allegedly, all right. Yeah. So that she was ready to,
move on.
And legally, you can't. And what I learned in the Philippines, there's no divorce. There's basically like mutual separation or annulments. So the night of the fight, right? And you can say what you will about was it a distraction or not. Juan Man knocked him out, no doubt about that. But if that were any of that true, I'm kind of putting the lines together too, because, sometimes people have to make promises, commitments when things happen like that, as far as like, I don't want this to happen, especially if you got money, because you're thinking like, and you got kids involved, and it's all kinds, your emotions are all over the place.
It's difficult.
It's very, very difficult. So when I found that out, I was like, wow. And the people that were telling me like, yeah, that's something that we knew here, but it really wasn't out, because who's going to share that?
Well, I mean, we saw some articles and
there was a lot of smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of smoke going on. We knew it was known that Pacquiao had I don't want to say money issues, but because he was such a philanthropy, giving back to the community, and that's where a majority of his money went, and he was getting advances from Bob Arum, and so the money thing we knew about that. There was also, smoke about him and Jinky, about his wife, and the fact that you went down there to the Philippines and was able to confirm this with pretty much everybody that
they were kind of
came in contact with.
Because I was damn sure asking. What's crazy is they were saying like it was almost common knowledge down there.
Really?
So it kind of shows that
worlds apart.
Yeah, literally, you have a country or a culture mutually agree, like, hey, we ain't gonna tell nobody.
All right, hey, you know what?
We're gonna keep this on the DL.
Super on the DL.
Well, I mean, that does happen. Every boxer, with the exception, of course, the commercial that very open. But there's a lot of stuff about other, Puerto Rican superstars in the past that they've gone through a little turbulence through their path. But so I don't want to distract you, but I have a concern. So you're saying that because of this issues that he's going through, it wasn't really him on that fight?
No, not at all. I was saying that it showed to me that there's a lot of things that we forget as fans. We're just focused on, did he train? Is he in shape? Who's the trainer in the corner? What's his game plan?
So
strategy?
Mentally, he was out of it.
But he was fighting one of the best fights ever. I mean, he was pretty much destroying Marquez.
No, he wasn't destroying him because he got dropped.
Well, he got dropped, but
Pacquiao, it was a flash knockdown, so did Marquez get dropped down.
He dropped him too. And then that round in that round that he got knocked down,
he was coming on.
He was like, he was about to really
Marquez was in trouble because his nose was he was having trouble breathing at that point.
He couldn't stop punching him.
So Hopper, kind of take us back from your perspective, like going into it, were you Team Marquez, Team Pacquiao, or I just want to see a good fight? Because keep in mind, this is the fourth time we've seen this. So, I'm not going to lie, and I'm going to get, probably hated and banned from the fight boxing fan club, but I was like, I can't afford this. Remember, this is before the zone.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to try to see if I can get a stream.
You didn't pay the pay-per-view.
What's going on? This is how you do it. This is what I did. On that particular night, I grabbed a bunch of my buddies. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna be watching it in my house. I have it on the outside. You guys, I didn't tell them it was gonna be $5 a head, but it was understood. Hey, you guys can chip in if you want.
If you want to stay.
So where was the invitation then?
Well, we didn't know each other back then.
No.
So and that's where we watched it. I took the TV outside. I grilled, did my thing because it was Juan Manuel Marquez at that time was my favorite boxer. I loved Juan Manuel. I mean, I was watching all his fights when he fought Katsides when he fought. I'm big time. Still am a big time Marquez fan. Even he's a Canelo hater, but that going into that fight, really, I was all Team Marquez. I felt he had gone. Took the. Was on the wrong side of a decision in the third fight, in the previous fight.
Right, I agree with
that. I needed something, some sort of closure, and Marcus finally got it. But here's the funny thing is I don't want to go away from the point too much. But when Marcus finally did get that, it's like his moment of shining didn't last very long because the next day Jenny Rivera died in that plane crash.
Right,
a Mexican icon, singer. And so everybody forgot about Marquez, like literally the next day, because Jenny Rivera was in the plane crash.
And that makes sense. That's why he's still out there trying to get
his star wasn't. Yeah, I'm sure he was like, that is such bad timing. If I knocked this guy out, and then the next day, one of the most popular Mexican.
That's a great point. I forgot about that because I've always kind of wondered, and I'm glad you said that because I'm a Juan Manuel fan too. Is that now? And again, we're still going to get back to Pacquiao, but do you wish he would have retired after that fight?
No, because selfishly, I wanted to see him in the ring again.
Oh yeah.
Selfish.
Selfish. I was very selfish. I wanted to see. I just always felt Marcus was a technician. He's a very cerebral about his approach.
He's dedicated.
Yes, extremely dedicated.
I think he had one of the best trainers.
Nacho Beres, and then I'll go ahead as far as I don't think I'm exaggerating or when I say this is I'll label Juan Manuel Marquez as probably the greatest counter puncher that Mexico has ever produced. I mean, this guy was, in terms of just the counter punching ability.
Yeah,
there was.
I would agree. I
haven't seen anybody better. Where he was. That's why him and Pacquiao were made for each other, because Pacquiao was this Tasmanian devil whirlwind of 1,000 punches per fight, and that's what Marquez wanted his opponents to do: throw punches so he can counter. That's why the saying styles make fights. That style, each style was perfect for each other.
Yeah, they really
counter
were.
Puncher, aggressive fighter. Match made in heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. That's to me where, selfishly, kind of as Hopper was saying, certain fighters, I feel like that's why I so want big fights to happen, because you take a great fighter and another great fighter that complements as far as styles, you have great monumental moments. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of reminded me of, wow, I had no idea that was going on, but it also opened up more as far as like, it wanted me to dig deeper as far as the psyche of the fans there for Pacquiao and kind of what's their thoughts on him now, because obviously so much has happened since 2012. His career has evolved and changed. I mean, literally, people don't get knocked out like that. They don't come back and fight into their 40s.
Especially not fighting younger, in their prime elite athletes like he did with Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman.
Unified
fighting these young guys, and he's punking them.
Right.
Not his division, because 147, it's not.
Pacquiao started as a scrawny young
super flyweight.
So he's still obviously still relevant. So before I play this clip, just real quick, Manny, what's your thoughts on just kind of Pacquiao in general, and what did you think about maybe that moment, or is there any other moment that kind of stands out as far as really defines his career in your mind?
Well, he'll probably be a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. It's very it's very interesting to see a small fighter move up in weight, and for me, I have him consider top pound for pound after Floyd Mayweather. My concern is I still have a little asterisk in him. I know there were a lot of rumors about PD, a lot of rumors about all kinds of stuff. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know, but there might some signs that might be able to get him.
Like the size of his head?
I don't know. I mean,
his calves.
He was at one point. He was. Yeah, those are rumors. But
yeah, those are rumors.
I don't want to take that away because I don't have any any data to validate that. But what I want to say is that he's an amazing boxer. I'm not being selfish. I want him to continue to fight. I want him to unify. I want him to be the best 147 pounder there is, and then maybe he can retire. If he does that, he will be the most amazing comebacks in the boxing history. To be honest,
no, that's great, and this is perspective of us here in the U.S.
exactly
consuming Pacquiao in his career. But that's a great segue to the next clip I want to play. Spider, can you play clip 1? This is actually.
Hello, how are you?
Hello,
my name's Kim. I'm a burrito, and I'm from Davao, and we're talking about the topic of Manny Pacquiao. I'm not a hater though. Okay, I still love you, Pacquiao, but. Same time, you let me down through that whole Mayweather media from the first beginning of your fight. You should have took the UA. You drag it out too much. All you had to do is take the UA. Take the UA and show that you're hungry and go in there and fight. But you guys dragged it out, and then you didn't fight. I didn't feel like you fought like your hardest. And then you're in the media, you complain about your shoulder. And I really disagreed. It wasn't your shoulder. So it kind of makes me I got love for you, Pacquiao. That UA, man. UA really, you was knocking out Hatton. You were knocking out a lot of people. And just going through all opponents that Mayweather did until this media situation happened, and it just got drugged out. I don't understand that. The Jeff Horn fight. I mean, very disappointed in that fight because they gave it to Jeff Horn, even though you kind of had the win. I felt like you didn't have your hunger there either. Same time. So, senator, talking about being a senator. Stick to boxing, Pacquiao. Stick to boxing, because there's already publicity about you fighting Mayweather again.
All right, so kind of leaving it right there. So I was kind of surprised because actually the tone of this interview, what stands out to you guys from that? Because I was kind of like taken aback when I heard it. Like, and he clearly said, "Oh, I'm not a hater." He clearly is a fan,
but
a lot more critical than I expected.
Yeah, a lot more critical. And it's funny. The first thing I noticed was that he was wearing a Warriors sweater. So he said, like, "Oh, this guy must be like a bandwagon."
No. The entire Philippines are Warriors fans.
They're all Warriors fans. Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, that's true. Now that I think about it, I do hear that a lot. It's surprising. I think this guy was a little. I think he expected too much. You know, they're boxers, you know, they have off nights, and but at the same time, the UA, it's hard to argue against that. Just take the UA, and there's a lot of smoke in there. It's hard to argue that if he didn't want to take it. You know?
Yeah. So that to me, here's the thing. Like going into it, I was thinking like I was gonna hear Excuse City. You know, as far as I did hear the thing about when the Marquez and there was a distraction, but there was a lot of different people giving different feedbacks on what their favorite fight was. A lot of people giving props to Marquez as far as being, one of the best fighters. Obviously, he, beat their champion, but they respected him. There wasn't like animosity, like he's a rival. They hate him. They actually, in fact, respect him. They have him in high regard, and then also too, just kind of all over the map. This individual, cool guy, he was saying that he should stick to boxing. Other people want him to retire to stick to politics. So it was kind of all over the map. But here's the thing, though, everybody had something to say about him, right? And that, to me, and that's kind of the big point of this podcast, is just the fact that a lot of times we look at things as granular. We look at that, it's boxing, he's a boxer. No, he's actually bigger than that.
He's more than that. And that's the thing with Pacquiao. Pacquiao is one of those the remaining boxing stars that transcends into the mainstream with the casual boxing fans, with the casual sports fan in general. People know who Pacquiao is. People know Manny Pacquiao. When he fights, people watch.
Absolutely. And
what other sports person can you name that is from the Philippines that stands as Pacquiao?
Stands out as Pacquiao.
Even the non-boxer fans. They see someone from the Philippines. I'll be like, "Hey, Philippines, yeah, Pinoy, Pacquiao." And they're not even boxing fans, but they associate that. Not only that is what we see here on this side of the country, on this side of the world, it's the good. The senator. The houses is built for, a village for poor people. We see all that kind of stuff. Is that something that it's real? Is that something that people comment about that and they're excited and they love him because of the caregiver that he is?
No, see, that's a great point, because actually, Spider, if you can play clip number 2, someone actually commented something in regards to they not believe in the hype. So,
You like Pacquiao?
Of course. One of the best men I know.
I would like to know, what do you like about Manny Pacquiao?
There's actually a lot of things I like about him. First is his career, from being a temporary man to a great boxer, from bad boy to a God-centered person, and family-oriented businessman, multi-billionaire man, knows a lot of things of handling money and all that.
So he's like an overall package.
Yes, package.
Yes. Will there be any or one thing that you probably dislike about him?
Before, I didn't like about his because he's a womanizer. He
says that so surely.
So sure, yeah.
Trash talk.
Like he knows.
Yeah, but usually if he faced people, then he can he shows that he's really a humble person, but deep inside he's not. And he's actually, he already tell the people about his past and his current status.
He really did evolve.
Yes, evolve totally.
Yeah.
All right, so think about that. That to me, that what stood out there is he was saying that I've never thought of Pacquiao as a trash talker.
Me neither. I don't think I've ever heard him
neither.
talk any trash.
Me neither. He can barely,
not even when Adrian Broner was all in his face.
No, he can barely respond. Give the proper question. The proper answer to the question that's been asked in an interview.
But see, here's the thing.
Never elaborates a lot.
But this is what I learned. Digging deeper, and we'll have the full breakdown of because we have more responses from people that were local. I just clipped certain ones, but actually, what he went into say is that his entire career. So going back to when he was fighting in the Philippines before he met Freddie Roach. I mean, he was the bad boy. Right, he was, in people's faces, talk trash, trying to knock them out, which right now seems crazy, right? But also, like you guys said, so confident that that's not what they see now. He's evolved, but at one point he wasn't, anybody that they were proud of. So here's the thing, though, there was actually a lot of people that said that
Really?
that he wasn't that great.
Huh.
With the people.
With the people.
His own. Oh, with the people.
Right. He wasn't that great with the people. He was basically Pacquiao. He was Camacho.
An ass.
Yeah, he was a bully. He was in people's faces. He wasn't.
I have a hard time believing that. I mean, I'm not saying that I won't believe it, but I'm just, hypothetical.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Perception is reality. Again, he's talking about, 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, people definitely evolve. I'm not the same person, definitely not the same weight. So, so the thing is, it again, opened my eyes even more, and it made me just kind of continue to seek out more about the person that I thought I knew, right? So, Spider, if you could play this last clip we have. This person is actually not a fan at all, but she talks about what Pacquiao's career has meant to her family, and I thought this is kind of unique.
You mentioned that you're not really a fan of Manny Pacquiao, but you said your father, your brothers and sister. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can really say so because watching Manny Pacquiao, like the boxing stuff, it's not really not my thing. However, it's kind of fascinating to watch my family members, like my brothers and my mother, and particularly my father.
Okay, so what do you guys like about Manny Pacquiao? Oh, by the way, it's his birthday.
Yeah, it's his 31st birthday. So happy birthday, Manny!
Okay, that's so sweet. So going back to the question, what do you like about Manny Pacquiao?
Well, Manny Pacquiao as a person, as a boxer, I can really see that how focused, intense. He has these three characteristics like this: focus, determination, and intensity. I can really see that one the moment he is on the ring, and I can really see the transition as he brought that characteristic to the politics.
Right. Are you at least aware, say for example, your family, have you watched them or have you seen them watch a Pacquiao fight?
Yeah. Yeah, because I can really see that every time Pacquiao has a fight, all of them gathered in our living room, like they are all focused, all their eyes are on set on TV, like no one's gonna disturb them.
Is there any particular fight of Manny that you watched?
Yeah, actually that was when last December of 2012, that was the fight with Marquez.
No one knows that.
Yeah,
Everyone knows
really,
that fight.
Frustrating and heartbreaking on my part watching my father because that was very. The moment Pacquiao got beaten by Marquez, watching him, that was again frustrating because he made. He do the bet worth of like 8,000 pesos. That was a big loss already because he always believed in Pacquiao and. That was again frustrating.
Also, there was betting.
There was a loss of money.
Okay.
All right, so that one kind of struck me because she didn't care about boxing, but she recognized the nostalgia. I mean, think about it. This lady doesn't know anything about boxing, but she knows the date of the Marquez 4 fight.
Well, it's a huge.
She knows the specific month, year.
She knows how much money her dad lost.
This was about 7 years ago, and she remembers.
Yeah. So, anything that stood out, to you guys about that? What kind of struck you from that?
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, some people, you see that you have a superstar in your country, an icon, especially him in the boxing. He's made his statement. I mean, as I stated before, he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. But not only that, he's doing a lot of other different things. And of course he's going to be well known. Of course he's going to be in the spotlight. And when you're on that spotlight, you're going to have a lot of mixtures out there of people, thinking different or believing or not. You're exposed. Right. And, it's a little bit different than how we see it out here. And I said that earlier. But I think that regardless of whether she likes boxing or not, people like him. I really think people really like him.
They like him, and from what he's evolved to.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
What he's evolved to and what he's become and what he represents. Hopper, what stood out to you as far as that interview and just kind of in general, because you saw different perspectives from what we normally see.
Yeah, it's just everybody has a strong opinion on that.
Yeah.
It's and was that universal with everybody that you talked to?
Yeah, like that was another thing I was going to say. Like everybody had a strong opinion. Like, when they weren't like,
whether it was good or bad, it was strong.
No one said like, I don't care about that guy. Now they would clarify like, I'm not a big boxing fan, but
I know this.
On this date, when he fought Morales.
Remember what I was wearing, what I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had a favorite fight. There were different fights, which I really liked. And then also something that was unique, talking about the involvement. They're really ready for him to go to that next stage of his life.
Right.
They're really ready for him, even though he's obviously clearly still relevant. He put on a great performance, last summer, July, against Thurman. They're ready for him to be retired. They're ready for him to focus on.
Are they concerned for him?
Do they want him to retire?
Or do they want him to retire?
They want him to focus on politics?
They want him to focus on politics. And what consensusly I was hearing,
presidential?
He can't be both. And they'd like him eventually to focus on being a senator to eventually become the president.
Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, training for boxing is hard.
You can't be a part-time boxer.
It's difficult. So it makes me think, what kind of work he's doing in the Senate? Is someone else doing everything for him? I mean, he's not making a lot of money, of course, being politics.
Or is it one of those things where it's
delegating
just for appearances? Like, hey, I'm a senator.
Well, no, see, that's the thing, though. He's very active, and that's one of the challenges as far as, we talk about, PBC fighters fighting twice a year. He has to wait till the Senate is out of session.
Oh, wow.
So he can coordinate his fight, which sounds kind of crazy, but that's when he does.
Which is fine. He's not going to fight 2-3 times a year.
Because you have Muslim fighters, they can't fight when they're fasting.
Ramadan.
Amir Khan can't fight. He schedules used to always schedule his fights after Ramadan, and that makes sense. We knew about that he has to wait for session.
Right. So again, it was just so eye-opening. I definitely enjoyed my time there. I mean, it's a beautiful country for those that haven't been. Very hospitable people. Obviously, I mean, they talked to me. And for the record, the person that was helping me with the interviews, her name is Jet. Shout out to her.
Shout out to Jet.
Shout out to Jet, baby.
Jet will appreciate the love.
Yeah, showing the love.
Very great questions.
Yeah. She wasn't playing around. So, and also too, we're gonna have on our website, in a few days, we're gonna upload the entire, because there's actually more feedback, so you guys can see for yourselves. Like, I was not cherry picking. We pulled men, women, young, old. Everybody had an opinion on Pacquiao. Everybody feels strongly about Pacquiao and his influence, and it shows that boxing is bigger than we actually think, and it just really kind of hit home. I mean, I've known it, but sometimes things have to be kind of presented to you, right? Yeah. So I have a greater appreciation for him as far as like his impact. And we talked about before on previous podcasts about the nostalgia when we talked to Xander about you want to be part of that. Think about it. He's had 4 decades where he's impacted people's lives as far as 4 decades.
Not only, that and all the great fights. I mean, no one's talked about one of my favorites fights, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Oh, that's when I first met him.
This is Eric El Terrible Morales. I mean, the battle for the lightweight division.
And this was when Pacquiao, that's when I was first introduced to Pacquiao. He fought on HBO, and I actually missed the fight, the live Saturday. I remember I was a senior in high school. So my dad was watching it the next Sunday morning. HBO always had the replays.
Yeah.
I love that about them.
I wake up and I was like, oh, hey, the fight. And then it was already like 2 rounds into it, and my dad was already saying that, hey, this Filipino guy is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I watched and I'm like, who is this guy? What's his name? Manny, I can't even say his name. Pacquiao. I was like, what? And then ever since then, I watched all his fights and then just blew up.
I mean, coming down from lower divisions all the way down to the welterweight. We're talking about 6-7 divisions.
Yeah, that was in 2003 when he fought Barrera.
Exactly.
2003.
Yeah.
And we're talking about him in 2020.
God, right. And he's still in his prime. He's the undisputed, unified welterweight right now against the top dogs in the best division in the world. I mean,
and he's still very much A-side.
So there's not a lot of hate in the streets.
Yes. The A-side. Like the only one, him, Canelo, Anthony Joshua are probably the only ones that you can speak in the same breath in terms of audience, eyeballs, and
so again, it was no hate from the people. Because one of the
guy, that guy hated him. Well, what did he say? He's a womanizer. He knew.
Did you see how he was complimenting him in other areas and this and that?
Well,
they have this kind of feeling in it, and I need to get it out somehow. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, but to me,
thank you, Yankee, for coming.
Thanks, Gringo. Yeah, that shows the passion to me, though. Like, if you feel that strongly
about
to me,
something.
Yeah, if you don't care, you're like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but no. Like,
this guy.
I have to let this be known. Right. And I was like, you're being recorded, right? They didn't care. Like, they want to let it be known. And here's the thing. They had people with even stronger opinions that, were off camera, where, it wasn't all peaches and cream. People had negative things to say about him, but
they love him.
They recognized why people do love him.
See, I'm just trying to think in my mind right now. Like, for instance, we talk about Cotto. He's a great fighter. That's it. That's all you hear from him. Yeah, he's a great fighter, but no one really cares for him. No one will continue to follow his legacy. Continue to follow. No one really cared. I mean, everyone wanted him to.
He's a
lot of the Puerto Ricans wanted him to really lose against Canelo.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious about this.
I'm learning something.
Well, you know what? Yeah, dang, that's crazy because Cotto to me. I've always, even though I'm Mexican, I've always liked Miguel Cotto. I've admired.
I'm gringos.
I've always admired. What I loved about him is that he understood what boxing was.
Yeah.
When he was fighting Margarito, and Margarito said, I'm Spanish, me voy a morir en el ring antes de que pierda. I'm going to die in the ring. And Max Kellerman asked him, and he goes, you want to die in the ring? Why? That's what Miguel Cotto. He was no nonsense. He was, he understood.
He doesn't project. And I know that, and he's honestly, he was one of the only Puerto Rican boxers who really went out of his shell and learned English. I mean, he could
be a smart business move.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because gringos, we're lazy, and we don't learn any other languages.
Espanol?
Yeah.
Nope.
Hola?
Not today, sir.
And we know that, and we understand that, but you should see the people really laughing and, really, truly hating.
But you know what it is? I believe as well, because it's like that with Canelo right now.
Oh,
he, like you mentioned, Canelo to go to a Mexican store, carniceria. Hey, Canelo, what do you think, Canelo? Oh, I love him. Or ese puto me cae gordo. Canelita, it's that fierce.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the own raza. There.
So would it be polarizing, kind of like what we heard, where people would have an opinion, they'd have to share something that.
It probably it would be heated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they validate the opinion. The same thing I do. I say with Cotto, but I'm gonna tell you, my biggest pay-per-view that I had an opportunity to go see. Okay, Cotto and Pacquiao.
Ooh,
That was the biggest
look at
ever.
me.
That was one of my favorite fights.
ever pay-per-view.
Oh, it was here at the
MGM Grand.
Oh no!
Vegas.
I'm thinking Pacquiao Margarita was here.
Yeah, so it's the
Cloti,
biggest
Cloti.
pay-per-view that I've had a chance to go, and unfortunately I was never able to go to see Camacho. I was never able to go to see Tito Trinidad. At all. I was
Really?
like, man, no, never had a chance to go to any other fights.
Man, I would have lost some money on that.
all of it, me too. But all of a sudden, I have an opportunity to go see one of the rising stars in Puerto Rico fighting against the best, one of the best pound for pound in Pacquiao, huge fight. And yeah, he got destroyed, and that's fine. But honestly, the Pacquiao fans really behave well with us. And I can say if it was the opposite.
They're Philippines. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was the opposite, you'll see Puerto Ricans throwing beer out.
Yeah. Did you see what happened?
You suck.
You see what the Mexicans did to Chavez Jr.?
Yeah.
They poor Danny Jacobs. They had a barricade him in the middle of the ring with the scorecards because all the Mexicans were so mad at Junior and throwing crap at him.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. It was
Chavez Jr.
It's so great that we have so many of these fighters that are polarizing. If you again get an opportunity where you can ever just visit, the Philippines are great. The people are amazing, as you guys heard. And us is props to them for supporting their champion.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and say that I'm excited about whatever he decides to do. Thank you for what he's done, and thank you for what he's going to do for boxing and just in general. I mean, he is a great human being. Clearly, I mean, if he was a womanizer, whatever happened the night before the fight against Marquez, that's in the past, way in the past. And then, he obviously has decided to take a certain path, and he's clearly living the right way.
Did you hear anything about the rumors that we heard out here in the States that one of the reasons that why he converted to Christianity is because to save his marriage?
To save his marriage?
Yes.
What the rumor is. The rumor is.
That true. That I did hear that, but also keep in mind too that I'm sure we've all seen her at the fight. His mother is extremely spiritual.
Oh,
I
remember the meme where she's holding the cross.
Right. So
she's doing.
So keep in mind, kind of giving you guys
with the rosario. It's a rosario.
For those that didn't know, coming up, Pacquiao was extremely poor, extreme poverty. I mean, he was eating, rice once a day in training, and he was committed. He wanted to be a boxer, and he told his mother, and she was supportive because she ultimately wanted him to be a priest.
Oh, okay.
Right. So he grew up in an extremely, impoverished situation, but very spiritual home. So it was always ingrained in him.
Well, I mean, nothing wrong. I mean, I think it's for the best. I think that we've seen now what we see throughout his fights, and she's very supportive, and I'm just glad that he found that something he can hang on and.
No, I think it's legit. I mean, now why he found it, people can debate that, but it's there. So again, it was a great experience.
Man, thank you for sharing that stuff with
us.
No,
thanks for letting me tell it.
It brings me. I'm going through all the memory lane and all the great Pacquiao fights, all the great moments.
Four decades, right? So 4 decades, so many amazing fights. His career has evolved.
Yeah,
I mean think about it.
I love Pacquiao. I love him.
We're talking like Pacquiao. It's over. It's done. It's in the past.
No, he's still fighting.
Not done,
he's
man.
still gonna fight somebody.
Here's the thing. Even though I got from, then we'll close it out. How do you guys want him to end his career?
Knocking Marquez out Danny Garcia. Well, I'm sure that fight's probably because Danny Garcia fights later this month in January.
Yeah,
Red Catch. He gets beat up by every PBC guy. I don't know how he continues to get these title shots. So
shots fired.
So Danny's gonna go beat him up, and then he's gonna call out Manny Pacquiao, and I believe that fight's gonna happen. I believe Pacquiao and Danny Garcia, it's lining up. That's how I would want to see. I want to see Pacquiao go out on top. That's my boy. That's
wow. And this is from a hardcore Marquez fan. So that's awesome. Manny,
I want to see him undisputed welterweight. I want to see him come back with against
Earl Spence and Crawford. Oh.
I want to see a Crawford. If I'm okay, so I have a lot of friends that are Manny. Yeah, you got to see Pacquiao in a brutal fight. He must fight Porter. Okay. That would be a really good fight. And we've talked about that before. But if you're going to go that route, what are you getting out of it?
No belt.
Nothing.
No belt.
You already have your belt.
You're going for legacy. Correct. So if I was Pacquiao, what I'm thinking is, let me just collect. Bring all the belts in here. Chivo diamo, arrivederci. Adiós, hasta luego.
If Crawford and Spence, that fight happens, Spence has to recover first.
Well, he has to come back.
All indications he's on the right path. I think that's probably the only way that fight happens, because when he was with Top Rank, when Pacquiao was with Top Rank again, is people didn't want the Crawford fight. They were keeping. Freddie Roach was very open about saying, no, we do not want him in the ring with Terrence Crawford. So it's probably if Spence and Crawford unify, then at that point, I don't think they'll have a choice but to put Pacquiao with them.
Yeah,
to be undisputed, like you said.
Yeah, and win or lose, what a way to go out.
Yeah,
exactly. And you lose your
You know
belts,
what? I like that way better than mine.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I mean it's the perfect way to do it.
If it happens, if Crawford and Spence unify.
Well, I used to think that Pacquiao will never beat Spence. Now I think differently. Now I don't think Pacquiao. Well, it's going to be very difficult. Pacquiao really beat Crawford. Spence, I think he's got a chance because we don't know what's happening with him. We don't know what's going on.
True.
We don't know how healthy it is. But man, you are going. You're fighting a guy that is not even in his prime yet in Crawford.
No, Crawford,
he's not in his prime yet.
No, Crawford's probably like on the last 2-3 years of his prime.
He's
32. He's like 32. Yeah, he's peaking right now. He's peaking right now.
He's peaking, but you haven't seen the best of him yet because we've yet to see the right fights.
Yeah,
that are going to show.
That's a good point because. Yeah, the good fights bring out the best in you.
Exactly, and that's what he wants. He's eager to have that. What do you think he's calling Spence over and over to social media?
Social media, and it frustrates me so much because, if you go back in the history of boxing, like when you had Duran fighting Hagler, Leonard Burns, those guys lost. Nobody cared. Hey, we're going to see you fight again. I think everybody nowadays is so scared to lose their 0 and undefeated because of Mayweather.
Right.
A loss doesn't end your career. You can bounce back from. Look at Porter.
Yeah,
everybody loves.
Look
Porter.
what we're talking about.
Pacquiao has multiple losses. Marquez has multiple losses. They all. These are legendary fighters.
Yeah,
get in the ring, fight each other. And
we were just talking about earlier, and it's a different fight. Okay, we got the whole heavyweight fiasco, right? Finally, we're going to see Wilder Fury. Okay, but I told Sean, I put him in a scenario. What if Wilder loses to Fury? Okay. Fury gets to fight, it's an easier fight, Fury against Joshua, because of the affiliation of ESPN, Top Ranks in the Zone match from USA, right? Even if Anthony Joshua beats Fury, Wilder lost already. But people want to see Wilder and Joshua. They want to see those monsters. And even though if he lost, he's still going to have a huge chance to be on top of the mountain. And he knows that. That's why he's pulled back. I'm the best. I got the best opportunity, the best scenario right now in front of me. And he's right. Win or lose against Fury, he's still going to have a huge chance. He just hopes that Joshua beats Fury, if that happens.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely talk more about that on the next podcast. But until then, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you guys. So excited to get a chance to talk about Pacquiao, to be in the Philippines. We love you guys. Shout out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below.
Share.
Good, bad, and different. Sharing. Shout out to the casual.
Sharing is caring.
Hasta luego.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Deuces.
Vivo.